Alright, it's been a couple videos since we've done this. We've got some more viewer stories. Let's get it rolling. Also, if you would like to submit your own, make sure you fill out the Google form on the bottom of the description. Why did I say the bottom? I mean the description. Also, make sure you subscribe and like, because that kind of helps with YouTube and stuff. I don't know. Also, comment, all that BS. So let's get started. That time I ran on a highway and got hit by a car. I was on a trip with a few friends that day, and we were planning a picnic. We were planning to go to a bus stop where we would go to this park near a lake. In between the bus stop and us was a highway. My friend, being the rebel she is, ran across. She didn't get hit luckily, but then me, being the dumb bitch I am, got the mindset of, if she can do that, I can too. I proceeded to look for any cars driving by and didn't see anything. Apparently, my eyes fooled me, because when I ran across, I got hit. I kind of just sat there laying on the highway until I could hear my friends. I still ran across the rest of the highway after getting hit, but made it across to the other side successfully. When I got there, I collapsed on the floor while hearing screaming and crying until a nice lady came not long after. She called the ambulance and asked if I was alright. The ambulance finally arrived about 10 minutes later when I honestly wasn't even in pain anymore, but obviously everyone would insist for me to get into the ambulance anyway. Paramedics checked up on me, but said that all I had after getting hit by a car was a small scratch on my ankle and hip pain. After that, I was free to go, and I still couldn't walk properly for that day, but it was fine after. The end. Man just gets absolutely walloped by a car, walks it off with a little scratch and some hip pain. God damn. Honestly, I respect it. Just next time, hear me out. What if we don't run across the highway just so we can get to a picnic spot? I don't know if you've ever thought of that before, alright? It might be completely brand new, never before thought of idea. No, I'm just messing though. Thankfully, everything's okay. I survived and skipped death. Me and my mom, we were gonna go somewhere. This was before COVID. Well, of course you require transportation in order to get to places. So we decided to take the bus, and we waited for around 2 hours to get there. We sat in the very front seat at the bus because there were no seats available. Then an hour later, someone else got to their destination, and we purposely went and moved back into their seat. Little did I know this would actually save our lives later. About 30 minutes later, we got into a bad accident because the van was going fast towards us and crashed into our bus. The driver of the van was dead, and there were shards of glass in his face. It was extremely brutal. There were also shards all over the front. It was all over the place. Everyone else that was in the bus thankfully survived. We survived the bus crash itself, but we could have died if we were still in the very front of the bus. If we crashed and I was in the front, I could have flown out, or I could have been impaled by glass. There's plenty of opportunities. I'm very lucky to still be alive to this day. And yes, we did get to our destination safely. Well, Jesus Christ, is this just the episode of everyone almost dying? I mean, that was kind of smart that you went into the back because, you know, you could have got impaled by glass. You know, as you said, you could have flown out the windshield. Like, there's plenty of different opportunities that could have happened. So I'm very glad that you guys decided to move in the back because, for all you know, that could have literally saved your life. And if there's anything that we've learned from this story, it is to not sit in the front of the bus. I really don't think that was the story they were trying to get across, but that's the story I'm getting across. Oh God, what's wrong with me? The day I almost died. So I was at a lake with my family. It was fine, and I was 8 years old at the time. The lake was packed with people, and it was so salty. It was even saltier than a toxic kid playing Fortnite. Now, I was dumb at the time, alright? I'm not saying I was some genius. I like deep lakes, and in my dumb kid mind was like, the deeper it is, the more fun I'll have. My parents were warning me not to go far because the water will go deeper. You see, I can't disobey my parents because before the water drowns me, my parents will beat me up. So I thought of every idea I could use to exploit my parents' orders. Then it hit me. What if I get a floaty and act like I'm sleeping? And when I stop the act, I'll be like, huh? How did I end up in the middle of the lake? Thing is, I wasn't that dumb. that I'll get off the floaty when I arrived at my location. Instead, I'll just stay on my floaty till I get to the other side of the lake. Now, when I was commencing my brilliant plan, I got on my floaty in a weird location. So while I was floating on the water, I fell off my floaty. This was roughly halfway to the middle, so I went into full-on panic mode. I couldn't scream, because if I did, water would go in my mouth and I would waste oxygen. Also, I couldn't see anything because of the salty water. I was blind and I couldn't breathe. While I was drowning, I thought of a kid who drowned in a different lake. I saw it on the news, and I was like, so this is how I go down. Probably gonna be in the news. Just sad at the thought of how my family's going to handle it. Then I feel the bottom of the lake with my legs. I was so happy that I jumped to the surface for a short time to get some air. Now, I knew how close I was to the shore, and then I was able to jump until I made it. So my mom was looking for me at the time, wondering where I was. And I just came out of the water with bloody red eyes because of the salt. And she said that it was like the scene from Friday the 13th. I didn't tell my mom this story after like a month. I was too scared, and I didn't even want to talk about it. This is the story of how I almost died. Well, hot dog, talk about an actual like full-on story. Goddamn. Literally turned into Friday the 13th rising from the water. And I can already picture exactly what the scene is. You know, he's holding like a little like spear. All right, it's I forget what mask it is, and he's just slowly walking out of the water, just ready to murder everyone. Like, oh, I so see it right now. Either way, I'm glad you were actually able to successfully get out, because that would have been really bad. Especially as you're drowning, you're thinking of someone else who did the same exact thing. But yeah, I'm glad to see everything worked out. And those are all of the stories we have time for today, boys. As I said, if you want to submit your own, down in the description is a Google form for you guys to fill out. And if you made it this far, obviously like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. You know, you already made it this far, you might as well just do it. You might as well just press the button. And I will catch all of you in the next video. Wahoo!